May 11, 2026 p.m. Regular meeting of the Bell Gardens Successor Agency to the Community Development Commission. The meeting will now come to order. Pursuant to Executive Order N2920, please be advised that members of the Bell Gardens Successor Agency will participate in today's meeting telephonically. Agency members and staff are participating from remote locations. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting live online through the city's website as noted on the agenda. Conflict of interest. If any agency member should have a conflict of interest virtually, please leave the room by turning off video and muting yourself. You may still keep listening to the meeting. Tonight's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Mr. Jaile Soto. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Agency Secretary, will you please call roll the successor agency?
Yes, Madam Chair. Agency members Aceituno.
Present.
Barcena.
Present.
Vice Chair Flores.
Present.
And Chair Cortez.
We will now open public participation for the successor agency. Do we have any public speakers?
We do not, Mayor. Chair.
Thank you. If there's no objection by the successor agency, can you mute your mic? I'm going to go ahead and close public participation. Moving now to consent calendar. Does any member of the agency wish to put an item for separate discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll go ahead and move to approve the consent calendar. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Councilmember Aceituno. And then I'll go ahead and do roll call. Councilmember Barcena?
Yes.
Councilmember Aceituno?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem or Vice Chair Flores?
Yes.
And yes for myself. Now we're moving on to public participation on non-agenda items of the successor agency. Do we have any speakers? Agency Secretary?
We do not have any speakers, Mayor.
Okay, if there's no objection by any agency member, I will go ahead and close that public comment. Any agency member wish to make a comment? Okay, hearing none. If there's no objection by the successor agency, I will adjourn the successor agency meeting and call to order the city council meeting. Good evening and welcome to the Monday, May 11, 2026 p.m. regular meeting of the Bell Gardens City Council. The meeting will now come to order. Pursuant to Executive Order N2920, please be advised that members of the Bell Gardens City Council will participate in today's meeting telephonically. Council members and staff are participating from remote locations. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting live online through the city's website as noted on the agenda.
Douglas Panache
has joined the meeting.
Got it. Conflict of interest. If any council member should have a conflict of interest virtually, please leave the room by turning off video and muting yourself. You may still keep listening to the meeting. City Clerk, will you please call roll of the City Council?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Council members Aceituno.
Present.
Barcena.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores. Mayor Pro Tem Flores.
Present.
And Mayor Cortez.
Present. City Attorney, will you please give the closed session report?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. The City Council is now in open session, having met in closed session to discuss the 3 items posted on tonight's agenda. With respect to all 3 items, the City Council received a briefing from the City Attorney's Office and staff Direction was given on all three items, but no final action was taken. Thank you.
Thank you, City Attorney. Now moving on to public participation on agenda items only. City Clerk, do we have any call-in speakers?
We have no call-in speakers, but we do have 2 emails with public comment.
Okay. And then City Clerk?
I'm not getting any audio over here.
I can't hear anything.
Either. I can hear you, but
Can
not
you hear me?
Chambers.
And
Yeah.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Can you
Okay.
hear me now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I will go ahead and repeat the public comments. This public comment is from Laura Cortez. Good evening, Council. I am writing today to speak on the opportunities missing in the current RFP for the housing element proposed for the city. 2 community meetings articulated in the RFP for this housing element are not enough to educate and engage the community. Though this is a complex topic, housing more than any other topic should engage community from the outset, from understanding current policies to visioning to land use proposals. Ultimately, this housing element should not only comply with state policy, but also assess community needs and create a vision to address those needs. The RFP in its current form does not do this, and it does not put the community at the center of the process. As an organizer, I have seen other cities create city plans and elements with a thorough community engagement process that includes community committees or various ways to engage community, tabling, door knocking, pop-ups, etc., with consistent follow-up so there's community buy-in by the time it arrives to council. To restate, I'm asking the city council to add more and more consistent community engagement for the housing elements of the city's general plan. Regards, Laura Cortez. And then for this one, we'll set the 3-minute timer. Good afternoon. My name is Juan D. Marin. I reside in the city of Bell Gardens. As an owner of 2 small businesses in Bell Gardens, it is truly of dire importance that the City Council adopts and approves the enaction of a new urgency ordinance number 907U due to the tremendous financial impact of COVID-19 on small business owners. Since the COVID-19 outbreak, small business owners face yet another burden in what was already for many, including myself, a limited future and a reduced lifespan of our businesses due to the increased cost of supplies and inventory, and most notably, from the rise of competition of new businesses locally, especially new big chain businesses. We are now exposed to the toxic and paralyzing uncertainty in the environment of what our Governor Gavin Newsom deems as the new normal. Fear seated within our local clientele due to the deadly risk of contracting coronavirus, which is completely understandable due to the rising cases in Bell Gardens, which shows a steady increase with no signs of slowing down and presents not a downward curve, but a diagonal slope in cases, will most certainly cause a decline in the output of client visitation and thereby of work and income that was already low to begin with in previous to the coronavirus outbreak. Due to a complete lack of commercial eviction moratorium protections elsewhere, the only way that I have been able to keep and save my 2 businesses from eviction was thanks to the urgency ordinance that was passed on April 9th. And thereby, I now completely back and support the adoption and passing of this new urgency ordinance. In addition, I seek to kindly urge the City Council to take into consideration business owners will not be able to financially recover quickly due to the situation, even after our doors open, and therefore instate a long-term commercial eviction moratorium programs for small businesses identical to the residential eviction moratoriums enacted by Mayor Garcetti in the city of LA on March 31st, which state the following terms, and then they provide a link. freeze on rents on all residents and pledge to not issue any rent increases, halt evictions on renters affected by COVID-19, absent extraordinary circumstances, waive late fees for residents who pay rent, the rent due after the rent due date because they have been affected by COVID-19 pandemic and related government actions, offer flexible payment plans for residents who cannot pay rent due to date, direct renters to available resources to assist with food, health, and financial assistance, communicate with residents proactively that you are available to assist them and want to work with them to ensure they remain housed. And also to the residential eviction moratorium enacted by the Board of Supervisors in the LA County, which state the following terms. And again, there's a link provided. In conclusion, I want to thank the city of their tremendous support due to the previous commercial ordinance, especially to Gustavo Ramos, who has personally provided and stated his support and protection to me and my business, and has shown to consciously and carefully oversee the relaxing of the stay-at-home order at a proper pace to ensure the safety of all business owners, workers, and all citizens of the city of Bell Gardens. And this concludes our public comment. If there's no objection by the city council, I will go ahead and close public participation. City manager, will you please give your report?
Thank you, Mayor Cortez. Just like to update the council, staff continues to monitor the changing COVID-19 environment with participation in conference calls on Fridays for council members and city managers, also for the daily updates as well. This last weekend,
You might be muted. Sorry, you might be muted.
I could actually hear myself. Okay, I'll start over. So bottom line, staff continues to follow the environment, the changing environment for COVID-19. This last weekend, code enforcement, along with help from Recreation Community Services staff, did a canvassing out to businesses just to ensure that those that were allowed to open knew they were allowed to open, and those that were supposed to stay closed understood that they were supposed to stay closed. Also, just make a quick comment regarding the public comment on item 13 regarding the housing element. So this item actually just authorizes us to contract with a consultant to help with the process for updating the housing element. That process is going to include public review and community workshops. So this item here is really just to get us a consultant to help us with the process, but the process is more described in the staff report and will include the public process as well, just to allay any concerns from the previous commenter. And I'll just also mention our next normally scheduled council meeting would be May 25th, which is Memorial Day. So this is a dark meeting. So the next regular scheduled meeting would be on Tuesday, June 8th. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager. Moving on now to consent calendar. Does any council member wish to pull any item for separate discussion?
Yes, I'd like to pull item 7, please.
Okay, item number 7. Okay, hearing no other items, I'll go ahead and move to approve the consent calendar with the exception of item number 7. May I have a second?
Second.
I believe that was a second by Mayor Pro Tem.
I'll second that, Marco Barcena.
Did we hear a first second? No, right? Okay, which is audio. Okay, so Councilmember Barcena will go ahead and give the second. And then I'm going to go ahead and take it to a roll call. Councilmember Aceituno?
Yes.
Councilmember Barcena?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores?
Yes.
And then yes for myself as well. So now moving on to item number 7. The approval to seek proposals for the replacement of the basketball gym and equipment. Mike? Or is this Roseanne?
I can talk briefly.
You're muted.
I'm here if you need me.
I can speak brief. So, yeah, so just briefly, real quick on this. This is just seeking the approval to go out and get proposals We're also looking at our budget, financial conditions, so we would have to come back to the council before we actually execute an agreement. But the thought process is that now is a great time to upgrade, to do some of these upgrades that have been planned, based on the fact that it won't get in the way of any scheduled games or any scheduled leagues. So I think if Councilmember Barcena has some specific questions, I'll turn it over to Roseanne to answer those. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And can you guys hear me first of all before I start speaking?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So I just want to say thank you for putting that plan together. I think we're on the right track. I do have a concern in regards to broken water lines that we have seen in that entire building. In the time that I worked there were at least 2 instances where there was a leak, not only from the rain, but more specifically to water lines being rupturing and leading to some severe leaks. And we had to bring in special equipment and dry the walls inside the building to prevent mold. So I was just wondering, have you guys looked at assessing the condition of the pipes in there? Because I have seen failure in the past, and I'm concerned that if we invest in new equipment, especially the floor, and that it might, that it might not be the right timing. But I kind of wanted to just learn a little bit more from what you guys have done there in the department.
Mayor, Councilman, we are at this moment addressing a number of concerns throughout city facilities in regards to infrastructure and in regards to the facilities. Yes, I've been made aware that at one time there was a leak, and that's what moved to have the floors replaced because of water damage and warped the wood floors. At this time, we feel confident that we have not sustained any leaks. The roofing has been improved or replaced, and so we're good there. There's just a number of elements to the gymnasium that we are recommending to have enhanced or replaced. It is the largest meeting space that is used not just for basketball, but for a number of celebrations, award ceremonies. And by being able to, one, we've already approved replacing the bleachers, having further, being able to move the basketball courts, the rims up and down will allow us some more flexibility. But yes, during this COVID period, we have started a capital improvement project list for a number of facilities, and we'll be coming back to council with that list to demonstrate which projects we're recommending to be placed at the highest priority. But I do appreciate your interest, and we do take that into consideration.
Thank you. And last question is, when do you guys expect to conclude programming inside the gym? I know that it's hard to tell, but more or less, what have you seen other cities that they're doing something with the gym during this time?
So at this time, Councilman, nobody is doing any type of group activity. In fact, tomorrow from 10 to 11:30, myself and 2 other staff members will be participating in a online conference with Los Angeles County. At this time, there are no recommendations by the governor to be able to do any type of group activities. So we are following all the CDC guidelines. We're also, through the leadership that is being provided through LA County, which has been really very helpful in assisting us to make those type of decisions in opening different facilities and parks. So as of this Thursday, we will be opening the golf course under the guidelines that have been established by Los Angeles County, and having the correct signage and correct how we interact. And we're doing a training tomorrow with the staff that will be out there. So it's our guess that it won't, we won't be able to have any type of group activities at least for a couple of months. And that is being hopeful at this point. So again, we're following the guidelines as prescribed by the governor, as prescribed by the CDC.
Thank you so much for your answers. I appreciate it.
Okay, any other questions for that item? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and move to approve item number 7. May I have a second?
Second,
Second by Councilmember Barson, I'm sorry, and I'll go ahead and take it to a roll call. Councilmember Aceituno?
Yes.
Councilmember Barcena?
yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores? Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
And then yes for myself as well. So we have a 4-0. Moving on to discussion item number 14. City Manager, 1415.
Thank you, Mayor Cortez. This item is a recertification and extension of the 2015 speed survey. So basically, a survey was done in 2015. Every 5 years, the city is required to take a look at that speed survey. In this case, our city engineer, Doug Banash, who's on the line, has done such a survey and determined that the city qualifies to extend the existing survey through the next 5 years. With that, I'll turn it over to Doug.
Doug, you there? Did he get muted?
Chow, why don't you go ahead and
No
speak
problem.
in place
Douglas Panache.
to give some detail
Has
on this
left the
item.
meeting.
Okay, he left the meeting, no problem. So, good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. As our city manager stated, we have to certify a speed survey every 5 years, and it's due this year. We have to adopt an ordinance and adopt this speed survey in order for our police department to issue citations for speeding. And if we don't have the survey done and updated, a lot of their citations will fall through in court, and they have no grounds for setting the speed limit. This is basically what it does. It sets the speed limit for our city. Our city traffic engineer inspected 26 segments, and he certified that there have been no significant changes in the roadway or the traffic conditions per the California Vehicle Code. We haven't added any lanes. We haven't reduced any lanes in the city. We haven't done anything significant to change conditions. And he's also reviewed traffic volume, collision history, and land use for as part of his field observations. And what basically the speed survey does, it takes the 85th percentile of speeders within the city, within a segment of the city, and the 85th percentile is the speed that 85% of the drivers are traveling at under free-flowing conditions. And so that's how our speed limits are set in the city. And that concludes my report. I'll answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions from council?
Make a motion to approve staff recommendation.
Thank you, Councilmember Aceituno. So we're going to go ahead and the motion is, and just to clarify, we're going to go ahead and move to recertify and extend the 2015 supplemental speed survey for the radar speed enforcement through 2025 and introduce the first reading of the attached ordinance entitled an ordinance of the City of Bell Gardens adopting the recertification of the 2015 supplemental speed survey and affirming the accuracy of the city's posted speed limit, and read by title only and waive further readings of said ordinance. So I had a motion by Councilmember Aceituno, and I believe I heard Councilmember Barcena second that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, I'll go ahead and take it to a roll call. Councilmember Aceituno?
Yes.
Councilmember Barcena?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Flores? And yes for myself as well. Okay, moving on to item number 15, City Manager.
Thanks again, Mayor Cortez. So as I mentioned earlier, the next council meeting is not scheduled to occur until the month of June. Between now and that time, the commercial eviction moratorium that was previously adopted by the council is scheduled to lapse on May 31st. So staff is bringing this item back to council, recommending adoption to extend that moratorium for commercial tenants from May 31st through July 31st. And also,
Douglas Banash
has joined the meeting.
Not include some of your larger corporations that have more substantial financial resources. Answer any questions?
Any questions from the council? Can you hear me? Were you able to hear me? There's low bandwidth. Any questions from the council? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So since there's no questions, I'll go ahead and move to approve the urgency ordinance number 907U, thus repealing and replacing the city's existing commercial tenant eviction moratorium, which was adopted on April 9, 2020 via urgency ordinance number 904 due to the financial impacts of COVID-19. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Councilmember Barcena seconds the motion. I'll go ahead and take
I
it.
told you. Fuck them.
I'll go ahead and take this to a roll call. Councilmember Aceituna?
Yes.
Councilmember Barcena?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
And yes for myself as well. So the motion carries. Moving on to public participation on non-agenda items. City Clerk, do we have any public speakers?
Yes, we do, Madam Mayor. I'll go ahead and call the speaker. And before I do, I need to read the members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on the item listed, not on the agenda. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments to the mayor and council members. Each speaker and email reading is limited to 3 minutes, subject to an overall 30-minute time period. Email comments will be read out loud after all the
Douglas
speakers
Banash
Has left the meeting.
I'll go ahead and call the first speaker. Hello, this is Jane Halstead, City Clerk for the City of Bell Gardens. I have you on speakerphone. You wanted to make a comment at the council meeting today?
Yes.
So
Yes.
Go ahead and state your name and state your comment starting now.
Hi, my name is Gurdeep Kaur. I just wanted to address the mayor and the council member and the community members to let them know that I'm running to be a delegate for District 40 for the Bernie Sanders campaign with Democratic National Convention. I'm from District 40. I've gone to school here from elementary through 12th grade, then on to Cerritos College and UCLA. Later, I also went on to achieve a Master's of Urban Planning degree from the University of Illinois. And I'm here back in my community to give back. And I am asking for your support for my campaign to be a delegate. And I hope you would be able to give me that. My name, again, is Gurdeep Kaur. That's spelled Gurdeep. Last name Kaur. The elections are currently scheduled for June 7th, if that stays as scheduled, given everything. And You're welcome to follow me on my social media pages, see my platforms, but basically it's everything that Bernie had fought for and had heavily won in our district: Medicare for all, comprehensive immigration reform, living wages, so on and so forth. So thank you for your time, and I hope that you'll give me your support in the upcoming delegate election.
Thank you for your comments, Miss.
Okay, if there's no objection by the city council, we'll go ahead and now close public participation on non-agenda items. And now moving on to council member comments. Councilmember Aceituno.
I just want to wish all the mothers out there a happy belated Mother's Day. And just wanted to state about the hotel being used by the county for folks. That it's unfortunate that I continue to see our own homeless folks and the population in our city increase, but yet the county doesn't give them priority to go in there and be quarantined during this COVID-19 outbreak. So I'd like to see what we can do about that, about getting our homeless into a shelter. It's unfair that ours are not being housed, but others from other cities are being sent to Equality Inn. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Councilmember Aceituno. Councilmember Barcena.
Yes, I want to thank the police department for the response that they have given to several concerns that I reported. I made about 3 reports, very detailed, with some serious complaints from the community. Some of them involved assault, and things are getting a little bit more heated out there in the streets, and I've seen a really good response from the police department. So I want to give them credit because there's credit that's due there. I really appreciate the chief and the communication that he's had in the last few weeks. I also want to ask the chief if what are the restrictions on parties right now? And this is just for my own information, if the chief is available.
Yeah, I think they're still limited as far as size-wise. I don't believe that there is no gathering. I believe it's back up to families of their residents, and then it's still basically on essential business for the most part.
Okay, thank you, Chief. I just been getting a few calls in regards to parties, so maybe I'll bug you later, but I appreciate the work that you've been doing and the information.
Thank you very much, and forward whatever info you have and we'll take a look at it.
I also want to ask our recreation director if there are any updates in regards to the skate park. I've gotten a few calls from local skaters that want to go skate, but I think it's still closed. Do we have a date in mind when we plan on opening that up again?
We should get some direction tomorrow. That is on the agenda. Skate parks, tennis courts, those type of recreational elements will be discussed tomorrow on the planning call with the county. So we should have some answer. Right now, it's still a no, but we're slowly inching our way towards opening facilities. And again, we're joining suit with what the county is doing. So slowly, we are starting to get back to where we are. So I should have some type of an answer after tomorrow and can provide you with maybe an email feedback to all the council, letting you know how soon we can open.
Thank you, Director Adanto. Really appreciate that. I also wanted to ask the city manager and maybe the director of public works if they can please revisit the painting of a red curb that I requested a few months ago on the corner of Quinn and Garfield. I believe the wrong side was painted, and it's a dangerous location. If you guys can please just look at the email that I sent a while ago, feel free to call me about it. I keep seeing a vehicle parked in a very dangerous way there, so if we can please connect later about that. And last but not least, I would like to thank a resident of Bell Gardens that through his job donated a few hundred masks or face coverings. His name is Hector Mejia, and he is a plant manager for the company Allied Home. This is a company that's in Commerce, and they donated some masks, so I really appreciate that. We'll be sending out a thank you email to him. But thank you everyone for doing what you do, and I really appreciate the efforts in this difficult time. Please stay safe, and thank you. That concludes my comment.
Thank you, Councilmember Barcena. Mayor Pro Tem Flores? Mayor Pro Tem?
Hello. Hi there, everybody. I just wanted to, first of all, wish everybody a happy Mother's Day to all of our staff, all our staff moms, and to all the mothers in the city of Bell Gardens. Roseanne, I wanted to especially thank you for all the work you've been doing, giving out our suppers. I've heard so many good things about the meals, they're good quality, and I know there was an incident where somebody confused us with the district and they were happy, and I was happy to hear that it had nothing to do with us, and we remedied that problem, and it wasn't even ours. So thank you so much, Rosanna, for taking care of that. And yeah, that's it. I think you guys are all doing a wonderful job through all of this, and I want to really appreciate. I want you guys to know how much I appreciate every single one of you. And I also want to invite those that are listening, or if you guys know of anybody who might need this, these baby essentials. I'm having a baby diaper and wipes giveaway at the casino on Thursday. So if you guys know anybody who's in need, I'd go ahead and let them know. There will be 200. So if you guys want to stop by and say hello or volunteer, I would be more than happy to have all of you guys there. And with that, hope you guys all have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. As far as my comments, just once again, thank you, staff, for all the work that you're putting in, for everybody that's associated in the community. Please stay home, stay safe. We will continue to update you based on new information that's coming out for step 2. Please remember that as of right now, there are still, to our knowledge, no public gatherings. We will be receiving other updates this week. In terms of other small businesses or other businesses where they cannot telework, some of our parks information for activities, but as of now, our parks are only opened so that you can walk through them, as well as the trails. And it depends on city by city. If they're city-owned trails, it's up to the city's discretions to go about it as they see fit. We'll be providing you with more information, as I mentioned, as it becomes available. Stay home and stay safe. And with this, I will go ahead and adjourn our city council meeting at 6:41 p.m. Thank you.